What's up, guys? With the recent release of all the episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, and especially the new N-1 Starfighter the Mandalorian has, I decided I would showcase an alternate build slash mod that I did just about a year ago right before I made my channel, but I never quite showcased. So what we have right here is just a small mod slash alternate build that I did to the Resistance Y-Wing, and I now think of it as a Resistance N-1 Starfighter. So this mod has been sitting on my shelf for quite some time now. I haven't revisited it in a while. It was actually going to be one of the very first videos I uploaded, so there are a few things that I'm a little unhappy with that I would like to tweak with time, but for now, I just want to revisit the project to show you guys because N-1 Starfighter hype is at an all-time high, and I'm kind of proud of this mock, and I'm a little sad that I never quite showcased it. So we'll go ahead and get into it, starting up at the front here, which is actually the rear of the old Y-Wing. You can see I just have two front blasters, similar to how the N1 has two blasters on the front, though the actual Naboo Starfighter has them much more built into the hull and it's much sleeker. This, because it is a rebel slash resistance craft, it needs to look a little more rugged, a little more industrial, so I just have the two blasters sitting out of the front here, and then you do have these two rods just above it. Now that I'm seeing it, I guess those could be blasters, but when I was building it, they weren't blasters. In my head, I don't really think of them as blasters, but I guess they could be. But you can see just in between them, I still have that red Technic axle, which represents that play feature that's on the inside of all the bombs falling. And I really love that feature, and I didn't want to take that out to make space for anything else or change up the greebling. It doesn't look bad on the top, it doesn't look bad on the bottom, and it's a really seamless play feature. The one thing I did change though, is I added a small mechanism on the bottom. It's just a lightsaber hilt on this little clip piece that folds in, so I can hold all three bombs on the inside and turn this at a specific angle so I don't have any loose bombs sitting around in my collection. It's a really great feature, but having all the loose bombs scattered around in my collection I didn't really like. So I found a way to fit all of them in here at just the right angle so none of them fall out through the top or the bottom. So the bombing feature, despite that little lock that I put in there, still does work from the original set. You just have to turn it like normal and you'll have all your bombs fall out. And while we're on the underside, I guess I can cover what I did under here, which was essentially nothing besides that. The spring-loaded shooters that came with the set, those bricks are already reversible, so you can toss the missiles in either way. So I didn't have to do any modification to keep those compatible with my mods. So I went ahead and left them on there. It's a fun little play feature, and it doesn't take away from the appearance on the bottom. And of course, we still have the 3 landing gear from the original set that are unchanged. Going back up top though, you can see this nice center area has a whole lot of greebling detail, and that's actually standard from the Lego set from the factory. I think Lego did a really good job making this look very industrial, very rugged, and I didn't really need to change that. I didn't want to change that. It already looked good enough. The only thing I did add was Zori Bliss's blasters right here is just a little bit of extra greebling. And then now we can get onto the engines, and I'm pretty sure anybody who's ever owned a Y-Wing set has taken the engines off and then flipped them the direction I have them now just to see what it would look like. And some might think it looks ugly, some might think it looks good, but some might just take some inspiration for an alternate build. I really liked how it looked. I thought it was pretty unique. The only thing I didn't like was having all these bars sticking up near the front here, so I went ahead and cut those off and shaved them down a bit. And these engine builds from the original set are very good. Lego did a great job, so I can't really tell you if I changed too much. I did a little over a year ago, so it's not too fresh on my mind, but I believe it's relatively unchanged, just putting this engine bit rather than at the far end. It's close right here. And of course, there's a nice sticker detailing on there from the set, so I really didn't have to do a lot of work with the engines besides flipping them around and shaving them down. And now we can go ahead and get onto the cockpit section. And one mod that I do to all my sets, I'm sure you guys know, is I like to try and make my minifigures sit at an angle to where it looks like they're actually piloting the vehicle and it looks proper. Now, I wasn't quite able to get that on this Y-Wing set. It is only so deep in there, and I didn't really want to change it up too much because I didn't want to use too many outside pieces at the time. This cockpit area was actually the main portion of challenges from the original set. You would think turning this section around to face the way it is now would be super easy, but it actually required a lot more modification than I thought it would. But eventually we did accomplish the look with only one use of an illegal technique, or kind of like illegal pressure, I'm not quite sure, I'll show you guys. So just in front of the canopy, we do have these chisel pieces, and they are actually elevated by one plate. So it makes it a little hard for this canopy to actually fold down and click into place properly. So we will actually have to apply a little bit of pressure, and you will be able to tell and hear that it's not quite a legal Lego technique. You can hear that pop, and then you can see the plates back here do start to separate a little, so that lets you know it's a little illegal. You can see it only folds down to this angle, so you really have to apply pressure to get it to fit in there. But speaking of the interior, we can go ahead and get inside, and you can see we have Poe Dameron sitting in there, a little further back than I'd like to, but that's okay. He does just have one control panel in front of him, and there's not many other details inside. But we'll go ahead and get him out, and the one thing you can see is the control panel actually comes with him. Without redesigning the set too much and adding on too many extra pieces, I couldn't get this control panel piece to hang down in front of him right here, so I went ahead and just attached it to his legs. Now, this is not my favorite solution, and I don't think it's really up to standard that I would do now, or even LEGO standard, which is what I try and hold my mods to. Maybe if I revisit this project, I'll change it, but overall it works for now. And with Poe out, we can go ahead and get a look in there, and he is actually attached by 4 studs, but maybe it's just me, but the 4 studs that are on jumper plates aren't quite as secure as regular plates, so I've never had a case where his legs separate from his body when I'm pulling him out. But now we can go ahead and toss him in there oh so nicely, in the perfect position, and then fold down and snap down the canopy piece. And that covers the entire cockpit. Moving behind the cockpit, I did want to make sure I kept the turret from the original set, so this is completely unchanged. It still has the full range of motion of spinning that it does from the original set. But then on either side of this R2 unit back here, you can see I kept all the sticker detailing. Now originally, I did actually want to move all this up to the front, but eventually I decided I didn't have enough red bricks to add back here to counteract the sticker detailing up there, so I did go ahead and keep all the sticker detailing on the back. I do think it makes for a very sleek tail though. It makes it look a whole lot faster, like it's a smaller starfighter, while the front end up here still has the industrial greebling look of the Resistance and Rebel Alliance. But just in between all the sticker detailing, we still have this R2 astromech unit sitting back here. Now I think this might actually be an R5, I don't remember this droid's designation, but we'll go ahead and get him out of there. It is just the one from the Resistance Y-Wing in a very nice teal color. I really do like this minifigure, but it is unfortunate that I forgot the name. But in this area back here, I do believe my only use of outside pieces is this bit of armor plating that slopes up to the R2 unit, but it does seem to be outside pieces because it doesn't really fit into the set here. But other than that, you can slightly see down there, you can actually fit Dio. I don't like having Dio just mixed around in my collection. I don't like losing things. I like to know where things are. So I went ahead and tucked him in there so he's always part of the Resistance Y-Wing set. But other than that, there's nothing really under there. I guess you could toss a blaster in there if you really wanted to, but it might be a little tough to get out. We can go ahead and toss our droid back in his socket in the back here. And then that pretty much covers the tail end. You can see where I removed the original front blasters, and if I did have pink studs similar to these engine units here, I would add them on the back here as some additional thrusters, but I don't quite have any in my collection at the moment, or at least I didn't at the time. But I am going to leave those empty in case I do want to revisit the project, because these connections here, these pieces here, will make it very easily to build on additional engines if I want to. But other than that, that pretty much covers the whole vehicle. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, this was originally going to be one of my very first videos that I ever made on a setup with 2 pillowcases and a desk lamp. Now admittedly, I still did use that setup for maybe 1 or 2 videos, but thankfully the original video I shot for this set never really saw the light of day, and I'm much happier to be doing it in this setup that I have now. Especially with the new Mandalorian's N-1 Starfighter set coming out, I'm incredibly excited to get my hands on one of those. I don't think I'll do a comparison to this one because this is of course an unofficial set. These are my mods and my alternate build, but I am really excited to put them next to each other and maybe get a whole fleet of N-1 Starfighters in the future. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you guys did, go ahead and let me know in the comments any mods or alternate builds that you guys want me to do on any existing sets or on any sets that are coming out this wave. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, fellas.